Hi, thanks for having me. This is really weird. I feel like I recognize everyone in this room, and I don't know why, and it's kind of freaking me out. I walked in and I was like, why does everyone look familiar? I don't know if I had a psychic dream about this or something, but it's an episode of The Twilight Zone. Okay, let's see. This is called Everybody is Making Mistakes, and I am one of them. I've got my tongue shoved halfway down the throat of your mailbox, and I make weird eye contact with the boy next door. He's smoking pot on the roof again and crying because David Gilmour just gets it. Empathy is a very human tool, like forks or indoor plumbing or machine guns. Remember that time I grabbed you by the collar and screamed about how your dishwasher fucking rocks? You pinned me down on the counter and ate me out like you were scraping off a dirty plate. I forget each time how much easier it is to leave something in the sink. We're all so busy keeping our schedules free that the idea of liking someone enough to write their name on your calendar in pen becomes just another annoyance verging on emotional disability. Only God and my mother know how faithful a student I am of teleology, but like beginnings and middles, endings just cause me a lot of anxiety. Sorry, I'm shaky. I'm nervous. No. There's light. Normally I can have a beer or two before I do this, but I didn't feel like that tonight. So, this is called Venus Doesn't Have Any Moons, but I think maybe we should kiss anyway. My uncle used to want to be an astronaut. He even got a job with NASA, but the spacecraft he was assigned to work on blew up before he could begin. A little later, he decided he was more interested in what was happening on the ground anyway. Now he's a teacher. As I grow older, I too have become more concerned with what's happening on the ground. For instance, your clothes are in a pile on my floor. I'm quite interested in that. That and your perfect silhouette in my doorway. You call out from the closet, this room has no window, and I hear there is suffering in the world. At any point in time, another spacecraft could blow up somewhere. I try and think of a compliment I could say to you, but the words feel cheap and dirty as I try them out against my teeth. You say, could I borrow your toothbrush? And I hear, I love you too. Let's see, this is called Walker Percy used to teach at my university, and I think I'd really like to have a word with him. I can picture famous people with ease. Tell me to think about Marilyn Monroe, and I swear I'll see her in 2 seconds flat. She'll be sweating through her white dress, no underwear, blonde curls, red lips, an icon for sex and the movies. Metaphysical blunders that they are. Real people smell like copper, cheese, and gasoline. Reality is green. Reality is only real on a green screen. Tell me to think of my mother, my sister, my best friend, the last person I slept with. I can't. But an eye, a foot, or the sound of their sneeze is so clear to me. I know where my father had cancer on his arm. I know Claire's freckles to a T. I know the texture of Noni's hand and the shape of her wedding ring. I see everyone I love in pieces. Reality doesn't mean a thing. Let's go out to see a movie.
These titles are giving me life.
Thanks.
Your Instagram captions must be lit.
Follow me, emotional shorty, period, between the two. Also, it was a joke about the beers. I would buy things from you, but I'm underage, so. This is called Dr. Espiritu. Dr. Espiritu held a stethoscope to my bare, curved back and said, I'd like to listen to your heart and to your lungs. All of a sudden, I wanted to kiss him and to say, thank you, me too. I would like to do that too. That's all fun. I'm glad it makes sense. It's kind of what I'm trying to do, I feel like, most of the time. Let's see. This was actually. Okay, so So my phone is really, it's like the cheapest, like, Android you can get, and I can't have most things on it, so I'm borrowing my friend's phone because it just shattered. So it looks like I have like a burner phone. I don't sell drugs, I promise. I know, I feel like, do you guys remember those series of tweets in like 2012 from Ezra Koenig, the singer of Vampire Weekend, and he was like about devices, like having multiple devices, and I feel like I'm like a two-device girl, you know, right now. 2 phones, yeah. This is just, I started it out as like a list of things that I did in a day, and I was like, I can't believe that these are actual, like some of them I added later like to enhance it, but I was just kind of in awe of how ridiculous they were. And I don't know if it's a poem, but I feel like I have this professor who's like, poems are just poems if you call them poems. Like anything can be a poem as long as you're like, this is a poem. So this is a poem. It's called Panic! At my parents' house. Or a list of things I did on the first day of my period and blamed on my period as if I wouldn't do them on any other day. Accidentally flushed a plastic tampon applicator down the toilet, laid on the bathroom floor for upwards of 15 minutes, followed 7+ dance hall Instagram video accounts, cried while learning a Joni Mitchell song on guitar, ate a partially raw egg, randomly Facebook messaged someone I used to have a crush on but who moved away, Googled fun facts about horses while listening to Miguel, Googled, lump on my groin, STD or cancer, woman, while listening to the Hamilton soundtrack. Googled, fuck, no, please, how do I stop hurting people I love without meaning to, fuck, while listening to my parents argue about me in the other room. It's a bummer at the end. Also, the uhs weren't in there. The uhs weren't actually in there. I just only had part of the list. I posted it on like part of the list on an Instagram account, and I didn't have the full list, and I had to remember what was on it. So sorry about that.
That's okay. I didn't ask.
This is not a sext, but I low-key get wet thinking about Whole Foods. I have never bought a package of blackberries that has not gotten moldy before I finished it. I've contemplated attempting to resolve this issue by stealing blackberries one by one from Whole Foods or Winn-Dixie or something, but that just seems kind of fucked up. So instead I keep buying them in packages and hoping that maybe one day things will end well and I'll finish all the blackberries. Sometimes I think about how blackberries don't get moldy when they're still on the bush. Similarly, how you can't hurt me if I stick to stealing you piece by piece from Whole Foods. But that just seems kind of fucked up. So instead, I just keep hoping to get you in my bed, simultaneously finish, and not have to worry about mold or blackberries or heartbreak. How much? I don't know how many you guys.
This camera died, so I switched to my phone.
Oh, groovy. 2 devices, you know?
I'm a 4-device guy.
Wow, that's impressive. This is called All of My Daydreams Have the Same Lighting, and if heaven exists, I hope it's that color. I would like everyone at this party to stop trying to get laid for a moment and to appreciate the smell of home-cooked rice that's coming out of the yellow window across the street. I love people who have the decadence to cook for themselves at midnight, and by that, I mean I love people who aren't as depressed as I am. I eat like 7 granola bars a day. I think they're not as good for me as I like to tell myself, much like Subway or Starbucks or the internet. I would like so much right now to be a face in that yellow window. Maybe someone else would be with me, but probably not, because unlike everyone else at this party, I'm not trying to get laid tonight. Partially because I'm on my period, but mostly because I'm afraid of intimacy. Telling someone you love them when you're drunk at a party is a lot like taking condoms from the bowl at the free clinic, a cheap, safe preventative measure. So I think I'll tell the next person I see at this party that I love them, but that I don't want to get laid tonight, and would they like to go stand in a yellow window with me? This will be my last one. This is called Jubilee. The nighttime air is hot and full of jasmine and fish, while we look at the levee that surrounds this city, preventing the summer storms from causing a deluge of water into the streets, the Mississippi brimming over itself anyway. We sit on dry, dusty shell bones, letting our silence flood the ground at our feet. There is no waiting around this glut. We are just our shaking hands and our mother's guts, this moonlight on the oyster shells, nothing much. Your palms fall empty to your sides, mine face up, while we look at the levee that grounds this city, aching for some type of release, praying for a jubilee. Yeah.